The most hated cards in all Yu-Gi-Oh history. That's a very interesting topic right now, considering that people are hating on Rotary. Right now, that's the most hated card, but I want to see how does it compare to the most hated cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh history. So let's watch.
Coming in at number 10 is a card that's never even seen the ban list, but it has changed how Konami has printed cards moving forward. Droll Unlock Bird, a staple in some metagames, and at the absolute minimum, a very strong side deck pick in other meta.
Dude, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Can you? I hate how this card is like exists, and it just wins game when you resolve this. Sometimes it's just resolved, and game is over, which is crazy. Bro said my favorite creator wouldn't be here, but he's right there in the right side corner. You're gonna make me blush. Stop it! Oh my god. Oh, okay.
Games as well. It's a level 1 0 attack 0 defense monster that you can send from your hand to the graveyard the moment your opponent adds anything from their deck to their hand outside the draw phase. And for the rest of that turn, nobody is adding any more cards from their deck to their hand. Full stop. Just one search.
I was told that Sky Striker was good in Master Duel during this meta. Because yeah, obviously it's good against your meta decks, right? It's really good against Kultun and stuff. But still dies to Droll. I was so hyped. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play Sky Striker this season or whatever, this month. And then I every time I get hit by Droll, and I'm like, oh, it feels so unfair and so annoying. So I understand why it's one of the most hated. What? Anyways, Droll is the most hated card when playing Striker. Yes, that's a personal thing. I don't know, because I know most decks can play around it. I don't know.
Search gets through, and then bang, the door slams shut for the rest of the turn. And this card, as you can imagine, is so strong that it has even affected how cards have been designed since. Back in the day, cards like Reinforcement of the Army was an incredible searcher, but now cards have to be designed like Mitsurugi Prayers, which gives you access to your pieces during the draw phase specifically, just so Droll can't catch you. It's not just a coincidence, trust me. The problem is in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's often just one search that needs to go through for decks to explode. We're talking Dragon Rulers chaining Super Rejuvenation, for example. Every few formats there is a deck that treats the word search like candy, and Droll is the heavy hand of Exodia to stop it right there. It's like a recession indicator. If Droll is showing up everywhere, it's like you're in a bad economy / format, and it's time to buckle up because bad times are ahead. The real reason people hate it though, is that once it resolves, you don't get a say. You don't get to respond, and in a game built entirely around consistency and card advantage, it just feels awful to play against.
Very important, chat. This is the first floodgate. It removes a core mechanic from the game, which is drawing cards. Which, I don't know, is one of my favorite things about Yu-Gi-Oh! Drawing cards. And it just forbids you to do that. Yeah, you cannot draw cards. It's over. It's over. No drawing cards for you. It's funny because Duel Links skills can bypass Droll. Yeah, but we're talking about a real game here, not Duel Links. I'm sorry, I'm being mean on purpose.
Perfect Yu-Gi-Oh! This card doesn't exist, and neither do the decks that make Droll mandatory. But let's be honest, we're never going to be in perfect Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's move on.
Can't believe this is just number 10. I mean, I don't know what Burst is doing here, but yeah, we will see.
Imperial Order's little brother, Anti-Spell Fragrance. And to be honest, you could name both cards here, because they both share the same hatred of spell cards, and making sure your opponent never gets to use them. Anti-Spell Fragrance is a continuous trap that forces both players to set spell cards before activating them, meaning you have to wait a full turn before you can use anything.
Whoa, both players must set spell cards before activating them and cannot be activated until the next turn of setting them. So no spells. So no spells allowed, okay.
No instant Raigeki, no instant Dark Hole. You have to set it, and you have to wait. And you just have to cross your fingers that your opponent doesn't rip it off the field before you get a chance to use it. Now, to be fair, opinions on this card are genuinely split.
Really?
At the competitive level, it is basically like Imperial Order, with a creepy smile instead of an old man. If you're going second against a strong board and you can't access your spell cards, that's often just game over. Simple as that. At the more casual end though, people see it as a more fair Imperial Order, because it doesn't just outright stop spells, it just slows them down a bit. So there's a little bit of back and forth to it. You still get there, but eventually. But here's the real reason why anti-spell fragrance is on this list. Because at one point in time, it essentially locked down an entire mechanic. Pendulum players could not play their entire deck against this card. The pendulum mechanic requires you to place 2 pendulum monsters into your spell and trap zones to set up your scales before you can pendulum summon. The problem? Those cards count as spells when placed in those zones, and they cannot be set. You can't set a pendulum card face down and wait a turn. It's not possible. So against anti-spell fragrance, pendulum players were kind of stuck.
Oh, interesting. That completely looks like pendulum players. That's crazy. Okay, I understand why this is so bad, because it's like, okay, this is bad, but I cannot imagine being a top 10. It doesn't. It's not top 10 material.
Couldn't even attempt to play, and that's the difference between annoying and just straight up offensive.
Yeah.
Imperial Order stops you from using your spells. Anti-spell fragrance stopped you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh at all. This is one of the most discussed cards in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, and for good reason. Ash Blossom Joyous Spring.
Really?
Ash Blossom has been a staple for the last 10 years. Pretty much a 3-of auto include in everything you play. That alone should tell you something. For anyone unfamiliar, Ash is a hand trap that negates any effect that adds cards from deck to hand, special summons from the deck, or sends from deck to the graveyard. And when you look at any cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that do any one of those 3 things, it gets out of hand just how powerful Ash Blossom really is.
Is Ash Blossom that bad? I guess it is. But top 10 in history? That's crazy. I know I'm calling it now. Number 1 will be Mystic Mind. I think Mystic Mind will be number 1 most likely. Or unless we're forgetting something. Shockmaster is also up there, I think. Ash Blossom and Joyous Forehead. Yeah. No, I see it.
We are talking about thousands of cards that just search on their own. Consistency is king in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Ash Blossom rocks that consistency to its core. When it was first released, its design felt fair. You negate 1 search, summon, or mill, and your opponent still gets to play the game. You just slow them down a little bit. And for a long time, that is kind of how it worked. But the way Ash gets used now has completely shifted. What Ash is doing now is punishing the counter to going second, where the player going second is at a huge disadvantage already. The Mulcharmy hand traps, cards designed to let you draw when your opponent overextends on their turn, are currently the best tools going second players currently have, and Ash Blossom just turns them all off. Your opponent negates your Mulcharmy, and you're left there with 1 less card in your hand, while you're still staring down the board of a full combo board state, and nothing you can do about it. So a card that was once the great equalizer for players going second, now just turns the screw on them even harder.
They should make like a... Like what they did with Maxi, right? They made a more fair Maxi in the Mulcharmies. So they should make a more fair Ash Blossom. What do you think? I feel like they should just... Well, I don't know why Maxi is still legal in the OCG and on Master Duel. But they should do that. Like, we already have the Mulcharmies. We should just keep doing that, Mulcharmies. So they should get rid of Ash Blossom and make a more fair Ash Blossom. That's what they should do, honestly.
And aside from all of that, is it really healthy to have a card from 10 years ago be a 3-of staple in every deck ever since it's come out? I'm not so sure. So yes, Ash Blossom is strong. There is skill in knowing when to use it. But after 10 years of having an inescapable stranglehold on the metagame, it is now despised. But let me...
I thought like what the new strat is not to wait for the card that matters, the most important card to Ash. Because there's videos, right, about what to Ash against this deck, what to Ash against Kultun, or you have to Ash Q, and what to Ash against Branded. Oh well, obviously Branded Fusion, right? Obviously, but right now, like since most decks don't really care if one thing get Ash, right? They can do more stuff. So what you have to do is just ash the first thing and hope that your opponent doesn't have anything. I used to hold ash before. I used to think, oh yeah, I'm just gonna save ash for the right time. What I do now is that I ash the first thing. I literally just ash the first thing, and most of the time it works, which is crazy. Most of the time, that's it. That's where the turn ends. To me, that's insane. To me, that's insane. So it doesn't even require skill anymore, in a way. You just ash the first thing. Or sometimes you already know, because of how the opponent played their turn, you already know that they can play through ash anyways. You might as well save it for your next turn in case they somehow have max C, right? So you save your ash for your turn. If you know the deck, you can decide. If you have to, no clue. No. Even if you know the deck, you just ash the first thing. If I'm playing against, if I'm playing during the K9 Banquisol mirror match, I would just ash the first thing. It doesn't matter what it is. I would just ash the first thing, and most of the time it works. I don't know what to tell you. It works. Sometimes they just activate a case for K9 and you just ash it and they just pass. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes they just normal summon Rasen, I ash and the turn end. No, they go into what is it called? Into Rock of the Vanquisher. And then they just bring back Rasen and then the turn ends. It's so funny. Ash the first thing and hope they pass, even if you know that. Like, yeah, 100%. That's what you should do. Everyone should do that. Hello, caramel apple. Caramel apple tea honey yogurt. Hi. Pepper means ash the first thing because game will screw over players. Can make a big hand. Yes. Alright, let's see.
Let me know your thoughts on Ash Blossom. I'm really intrigued to see what side of the fence you are on concerning this card. Crush Card Virus is a trap card.
You're the reason why I always try to bait Ash. But sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes you just have to play your only playable card. And yeah, I know.
When you tribute a dark monster with 1,000 or less attack, destroys all monsters your opponent controls in their hand and drawn for the next 3 turns with 1,500 or more attack. Full board wipe, full hand wipe, and 3 turns of perfect information from your opponent. What? To make it even worse, when Crush Card Virus first came out, you couldn't even buy it because it was a prize card, a trophy card of sorts, awarded to top player finishers at the Shonen Jump Champion Series events.
This video just came out 2 weeks ago. I assuming this was pre-errata, right? Obviously, no? That's the pre-errata one, right?
So if you didn't win it, you were twiddling your fingers. But if you did have it, you was basically winning games instantly just off this effect alone. The perfect way to resolve it was by tributing a Sangan, which is already a staple by the way. Sangan hits the graveyard, searches you a card, and in return your opponent loses most of their monsters for the next 3 turns, and you get to see every card they draw. You plus, they minus. They're playing blind while you have full information.
Yeah, and then Sam says that Kultun Rotary is the most hated card in history. It's like, bro, have you seen this thing? Have you seen this card? What the hell? Alrighty, so will the Let's Fix This Archetype style stream interest you? We can talk about it after this.
It's as broken as it sounds. It got so oppressive that decks that weren't even playing dark monsters were now playing a small dark package just to make use of Crush Card Virus because it...
Well, pre-errata Crush Card is nasty. Well, I feel like it's obvious, right? That we're talking about the original version of it, right? Now it's obviously still a good card. Well, in certain decks, right? In certain ways. But definitely, if we're talking about the most hated cards in history, yes, it's the original one.
It was that good. So what was happening was the meta was revolving around a card that most players couldn't even get their hands on. A very strange scenario. It's one thing to get knocked out of a tournament by a card you could see coming. It's another thing to get knocked out at a tournament by a card that you have no chance of owning. No good. Unreal card, unreal story. Now for a change of pace, we have a card in which I would rejoice if you drew it, but would deep down cry if I drew it. A card that was so iconically bad to draw,
I'm scared.
its name is now immortalized in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, it's
for
Garnet?
cards that you never want to see in your hand. Garnet. This goes back to the incredibly powerful card Brilliant Fusion. By sending any light monster and a Gem Knight from your deck to your graveyard, you could summon out Gem Knight Sephironite. That lets you have an extra normal summon, plus a light monster that could be anything from a free summon like Performative Trick Clown to Fairy Tale Snow. Now a lot of players wanted to make use of this because it's absolutely insane, but most players weren't playing Gem Knight decks for good reason. So what you wanted to do was only run one Gem Knight card in your deck to make use of Brilliant Fusion. But unlike other fusion cards, Brilliant Fusion can't work with a card that's in your hand. So whatever Gem Knight you ran as a one-off, you never wanted to see it. So
That's
what was
Garnet.
this Gem Knight card that everyone wanted to use then? Well, Gem Knight Garnet, because at least if you drew it and you really needed to, you could summon it and attack with it. But make no mistake about it, if you ever saw this in your hand, it would ruin your day. Over the years, there have been other Garnet-like cards found, like Psy Frame Driver, but no other card would ruin your day.
It came out with delay, the side frame driver. Is this hated because you don't want to draw it? That's so funny. That is so funny. That's when they made Doom Virus Dragon, which summoned via Fang of Creatures, Crush card to the grave, which has the original Crush card effect. But imagine they adapt the anime effect where the rest of the duel you couldn't summon monsters with over 15k attack, 1500 attack. Yeah. Well, there is a reason why it wasn't printed, obviously.
Drawing
Like that.
Garnet. Next up, we have a card that doesn't actually do a great deal.
Shifter.
But what it does do is wreck your opponent's day. Dimension Shifter. As long as you have no cards.
This is right now one of my most hated cards. Like, I hate it so much that it's like in every K9 Vanquished K9 deck they run this, but I don't run it because I think it's super lame and I hate it. It's such a card that you just play it and you win the game if you draw it. But if you draw it at the wrong time, it's a break. It's a break, and I hate breaks. So I hate this. I hate this card. I don't like it. I feel like this card shouldn't exist.
Graveyard, you can discard this from your hand as a quick effect, even on your opponent's first turn. And until the end of the next turn, any card that would go to the graveyard gets banished instead. That's it. That's all this card did. But that can make entire decks unplayable.
Yeah.
The absolute hatred for this card comes from that the decks that often play it are the ones that it will never affect themselves personally, because they simply don't care about the graveyard, so they can play it with zero repercussions as well. Infuriating if it's stopping you, because they can simply drop Dimension Shifter turn 1 unaffected, la-di-da-di-da, while you, the opponent, are struggling.
Hello,
it's
Ren.
like getting reverse first turn killed, but on your turn instead. And you can't respond to it, you just lose that turn. No input, no counterplay, no real say in what happens in the rest of the game, because you have lost. It's essentially a you don't get to play you.
Dude, I love this GIF. The generational GIF. I don't even know what this guy is playing, but I 100% relate to this. Like, getting your dreams crashed like that, and instantly getting your, I don't know what drink he was having. But it's so real, so iconic, and I 100% relate. That's exactly that emote. That is so funny. It's exactly that emote. Oh my god, dude. I despise Shifter. Beast of Farming card. Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! This turn button, which quickly turns into a you don't get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! At all this round, buddy. Sorry about that button. One of the most hated hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! For very good reason.
Yeah.
This next card is one of the most iconic
What
format
is
defining
this?
cards of all time, Royal Oppression. Royal Oppression is a continuous
The
trap.
hell, Royal Oppression? I've never heard of this. I literally never heard of this. Why? Was it only relevant during one format? What is this? Either player can pay 800 life points to negate the special summon of a monster, and or the effect of that special summon monster and destroy those cards? What the fuck is this? It's continuous. It's not once per turn. Excuse me. Excuse me. What the hell is this?
Card where either player can pay 800 life points to negate a special summon or an effect that would special summon a monster. No once per turn, no limit on activations, just 800 life points, as many times as you can pay it. Think of it like a solemn warning for less than half the cost that you can use over and over and over again. The problem with a card like this is whoever draws it first is at a mammoth advantage, as most decks simply can't operate under it, because special summoning is the backbone of Yu-Gi-Oh! So a card that taxes every special summon is going to be crippling for you or your opponent. But here's where it gets interesting, and why Royal Oppression has a special place in one of the most beloved formats in Yu-Gi-Oh! History.
There's no way this was legal in Edison. There is absolutely no way.
Format. There was one deck that could use Royal Oppression without any drawbacks. Blackwind Vayu. Here's why. They use synchro summons by banishing monsters from the graveyard as material, but crucially, it doesn't banish those monsters as a cost. The effect goes on a chain. Your opponent has the window to pay 800 and negate it, but if they don't, the synchro summon goes through, and because Vayu is not a once per turn effect, you can simply activate it again and again and again. So your opponent will simply run out of life points if they keep paying 800 to try and stop you. So Royal Oppression basically became a one-sided floodgate. That's gross. This opened the door to a fascinating format, plenty of Vayu mirror matches, and decks that could also play through Oppression without needing a combo, like Frog Monarchs for example. So a super powerful floodgate that could end games instantly as well, but it did at least reward creative deck builders. That's pretty cool.
I can't believe I never heard of this card. The hell? Floodgate should be something that must be the first you activate during your turn, so you get affected by your own cards during your turn. I guess if we want floodgates, if floodgates have to exist, they have to have like downsides, right? They cannot just be like that. Frog Monarchs, my Yoshi.
Next up, we have a card that was so oppressive. Basically came to a gentleman's agreement to side it out for games.
Oh, I think I know this.
That is ridiculous. Dijin released Ritual.
Yeah, I've heard about this. This is the from the video of the guy that was cheating. That he said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna side deck it. Look, I'm putting it out, and then he had another one in his deck. This is so stupid, dude. That's so bad. Why would you do that? That's such an asshole thing to do. Personally, I think floodgates should be on field spells. Only get one on field spells. That's interesting. That sounds interesting.
Dijin is a dark level 3 fiend that when used as material for a ritual summon, grants the ritual monster a continuous effect as long as it stays faced up on the field. Your opponent cannot special summon monsters, and on top of that, it can be banished from the graveyard to serve as tribute for a ritual summon as well, meaning you didn't even need it in hand to use it. Now that on its own is incredibly terrifying, but in Necros format, it became something else entirely. Necros was a deck built around searching and cycling ritual monsters with incredible efficiency. Getting Dijin into the graveyard and then ritual summoning on top of it was not a difficult ask. And from there you would ritual summon over it, and your opponent simply can special summon for the rest of the game, with no response of course, no out through normal gameplay, just locked out. Sounds riveting, eh? For most decks it was impossible to break through. People had to dust off 2003 staples like Exiled Force and DD Warrior Lady. That's how desperate players were getting. Cards that no one has touched in years suddenly became the new hot playable staple. That's how strange the format became. But here's the interesting bit. The format got so bad that what players would do at events is both agree to side out Dijin for games 2 and 3. Because it was just so boring, uninteractive, sad, desolate to play against. And that to me is amazing because I've been around card games for many years. And TCG players for the most part are very competitive. You never want to give your opponent an advantage. And fun is often pushed to the side at events. So for a card to be so destructive that the entire player base agreed to not use it, that is something that I've never heard of before. banned.
Do you think that would ever happen now? I feel like those things don't happen now. Can you imagine? Can we? What would be the card that would make everyone be like, no, actually, let's not play that. Let's not play that. Do you think Rotary? I've been mentioning Rotary during the whole time. Can you imagine like this guy's just a hater and the #1 is Rotary? It would be so funny. That would be so funny. So Paris Pepper hasn't used that in his Angry Burger deck yet. Is it legal right now? Can you play this? Is this not banned? Rotary living rent free in our head? Yeah, exactly.
Not coming back, good riddance. Maxi,
it's not legal. Okay, that makes sense.
Most controversial card, and for good reason. Maxi is a hand trap that you can discard on your opponent's turn that lets you draw a card every time they spell.
Well, yeah, that means Mystic Mine is #1. What can we do?
Special summon a monster. Every single special summon. You can sort of see that there has been a bit of a theme in this video, that anything that interrupts or interacts with special summons is rather strong. And drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is probably the strongest thing you can do. So if you draw a card every time your opponent special summons, you can see how silly this can get. Like,
I think this guy or his editor really likes Persona.
Remember, Pot of Greed is permaban for letting you draw 2. And think about how many you can draw with Maxi. If no out is found, the game is simply unplayable. Most decks that aren't even too combo heavy can't really get away without special summoning, you know, at least 2, 3 or 4 times. Maxi instantly punishes that. Because the card...
I would agree, a gentleman out Maxi. Me too. But like, it's not legal in the TCG, right? But for Master Duel, it's just not possible. There's no interaction. There is no looking at your opponent's face and be like, I'm gonna side Maxi. Yeah.
Card advantage gap becomes simply unsurmountable. And it gets worse, because if the player going first draws Maxi, the dynamic shifts into something even more suffocating, where the game is essentially decided before it even began. It is one of the most statistically impactful cards in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. It was eventually banned in the TCG in 2018, but it still remains legal in the OCG and in Master Duel, at a peak of an absolutely mind-boggling 90% play rate. And what makes it...
Wait, this is wait. Top 10 most played cards? Who is this? Typhon? Typhon is one of the most played cards? Why is Droll not here? What? Why is Droll not in that list? I feel like Droll will be one of the obvious ones. What the hell? Oh yeah, Typhon. I'm actually more surprised to see Ogre there. Yeah, you're right. Why is Ogre here? Opponent special summons at least 2 or more. 3 Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity with no discard. I think it's because it's a counter to some cards. I cannot believe that Ghost Ogre is played more than Nibiru. Was Nibiru out? Nibiru was out, right? During May 2025, right? Yes, open Master Duel meta is the front page on search. Okay, but that's not the actual stats from... Oh, these are the stats from Master Duel meta. Oh, pfft. Okay, sorry. I thought these were official. Sorry.
Even more funnier, Ash Blossom, you know, the card from earlier, is Maxi's best answer, sure. That means it's the second highest players card on Master Duel as well. Meaning that the metagame is essentially Maxi and Maxi answers. Come on, man, what are we doing here? Fun to use, miserable to play against. That's Maxi.
Place your bets, Rotary. Baylor is 50% carried by Blue Eyes players. That would make sense, but I don't know if that many people play Blue Eyes. So yeah. Then for that, from last year on most play cards, yeah. All right. Well, show me. Show me Mystic Mine.
But for our most hated Yu-Gi-Oh card of all time, we have a card that I promise you, I'm not being hyperbolic here, is designed to stop your opponent from literally doing anything. Mystic Mine. The effect is deceptively simple. While your opponent controls more monsters than you, they can't activate monster effects or declare an attack. That's it. But in practice, What this means that if you have no monsters on your side of the field, your opponent is completely frozen. They can't use monsters, they can't attack, they just have to sit there and while you do whatever you want. I couldn't believe this card when I first saw it. Mystic Mind just grinds all games down to a complete halt. And of course, what dedicated Mystic Mind decks would do is take this to the furthest degree, pairing it with Field Barrier so it can't be destroyed, and then slowly drain your opponent's life points with burn cards like Just Desserts, Secret Barrel, and Wave Motion Cannon. But sometimes...
What a lame way to play the game, dude. It actually bores. Like, why are you even playing the game if you're gonna play Mystic Mind? Oh my god! I'm sorry. This is the type of things that make me mad. Like, why would anyone do that? Crazy.
Players would just get silly with it because it wasn't even always burn as the win con. Because Final Countdown...
Show me Mystic Mind for 2000, Alex. It was optimal. Yes, I know technically it was the ideal way of playing the game at the time. But why would you why? It's only if you care about winning, right? Damn, I don't think I will have played that. If I was playing that format, I don't think I would be playing that. There is no way. I really want to believe that I wouldn't be a Mystic Mind player.
Even got a look in, which gave the archetype a new lease of life. Either way, your opponent sat across the table while the clock ran down on them. But dedicated Mystic Mind decks are one thing, but where this...
Oh, you wanted slow gameplay in Yu-Gi-Oh, didn't you? Me? Are you talking to me? Show that show the meme of the guy doing like, me? No, oh yeah, but I get what you mean. Some people wanted that. No, fuck those guys. Actually, I like turn 0 plays. I like turn 0 plays. That's what I love. I need more Kultun Clip. I need more Holisu. I need more Izuna. I need more. What is it? The other one? Habnis? I don't know what is. I think it's Habnis, right? The one from Tier Laments. Those are the cards that I want. Oh, Faimina. Yeah, that's what I like. No, slow Yu-Gi-Oh. Nah. If I want to play slow Yu-Gi-Oh, I would play another game.
Card got out of hand is where all other decks started to play Terraforming and Mystic Mind just to fetch it, to catch their opponent lacking and stop the game right there. Showing up as a 3-of in championship winning decks. Right at the top of the competitive scene. Duels where one player simply did not get to play. No interaction, no counterplay once it hit the field. Just sitting there while your life points slowly ticked away with nothing you can do about it.
That's so real.
Crazy card.
It's a perfect stock video for this.
The most hated card in Yu-Gi-Oh history. But if you like that video, please consider liking the video and subscribing.
Oh, I'm definitely.
If you are mobile. Follow me at itsBert, and why don't you watch this video
you're asking for
here,
too much.
where we look at the quickest TCG games ever caught on camera.
That was really cool. Honestly, that was a really cool video. I want to see more of birds here. We're gonna watch more videos soon. But yeah, amazing video to go back into the history of this. Now,
Hated card.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Like how this is gonna look next year, living rent free on my head. Please let me know which one is the one that is missing here. Chat, what do you think is missing from here? What is a card that is super hated? I'm trying to think right now. A card that is hated, that is missing. Do you think Dimensional Fissure should be here? No, right? I feel like Dimensional Fissure shouldn't... Or like Macrocosmos, a Rise Hard, Necro Valley. I would put a Rise Hard here, but that's a me thing. At least a Rise Hard is quote-unquote hard to summon, right? It's not just one card. You have to do stuff in order to get it. But it's still annoying. A Rise Hard. Yeah. Oh, Shockmaster? Dude, Shockmaster shouldn't Shockmaster be here? I feel like I was expecting Shockmaster. I don't know. Maybe I haven't played that format, so I don't really know. No, a Rise Hard? Interesting. Triamid, King Golem. I don't know which one that is. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Port of Greed. Port of Greed was never hated. I don't think so. You can say that it's a broken card, but it was never hated. So yeah, I'm sure there is a lot of cards that could be here. So let me know in the comments. Thank you, and thank you, Birds, for the amazing video.